Reassembly starts. This is the front hub. There's the piston assembly goes with this inside. I'll work on that in a minute. I have to change these bushings in here. But one thing that concerns me, which could be the problem I'm having, is that this should actually slide in there easily. And it has to go down further than that, but it's not sliding. It's sticking. And that is a problem. So I'm going to find out why that is. It does have some scratches on it. I have no idea how it got those. I'm pretty sure I didn't put them there. But it's the trouble with the transmission. You have no idea what its history is. So I'll turn that upside down and start cleaning and changing parts. I'll let you know what I find. So now I'll put the piston back together. It's got an O-ring on the inner hub. As I work this off of here. So it's got an O-ring or a seal there. Fits in that inner surface. And then it's got a seal on the outer surface. And that goes on this. So I have to put this together. So I'm going to take the back end of this, which is rounded, and slowly and gently work it in. It gets into the right position. Very little pressure. There we go. Make sure it's in there. Good. So now that'll work back and forth. That. Line up the squares, square notch with the peg, and now to put the discs in, sort those out. I'm going to pull them out of the packages, and then I will put it together and see if it moves smoothly. I've done as much cleaning as I can. I found little burrs with this head-mounted magnifying glass I've got on. You can see little burrs in there, and then I took 180 emery cloth and I worked around here gently. So you can see it's got really light scratches going around, taking off any burrs, smoothing out any scratches that were there, and there were a couple. I've probably said this before, but just in case, so these composite discs go in. The cork line is the lighter shade. Facing upward, that's inside. The composite is on, or the fiber is on the outside. In the upward position. This being upward, because the hub goes in this way. Or the piston rather, piston assembly. This is the hub. And then the discs go in the round portion of the disc here. Goes around the springs. It alternates friction plate, steel, friction plate, steel, friction plate, steel, friction plate. So there's 3 steels, 4 friction plates. One thing to keep track of is that when you put the steels in, some of them have a cone shape to them. The term they use is waves. Stack them all together and look for a gap on the inside edge. If you see a gap, then flip one of them over and that should disappear. And that's the way they have to go in. It doesn't matter if they're up or down, as long as the cone shape is all in the same direction. That will have a big effect on how the friction plates work, whether they grab properly or improperly. There, you can see it going down below the ring land. Bring it up, it moves up. Take it down. Press lightly, moves up. So it seems to be free. So I will put the ring in there and then try it again. When you have this compressed and put this snap ring in that holds it together, you got to make sure that the snap ring slides easily. Well, fairly easily. And this one does. So that means that it's seated correctly. If it's not in the seat correctly, you can't turn it. So So now let's try. Go down, that's compressed, comes up. Go down, compressed, and up. So that's working. So now I put it together on the shaft, do the same with the rear hub, and make sure that they actuate with air pressure. Here's a correction for you. This oil delivery sleeve, this face goes into here. And I assumed that the thrust washer, the bronze washer, had to be facing this, but it doesn't. The bronze washer is for this. And I'm not sure how that's going to fit because it seems to me the step is going to be an issue inside, but I will check that. But the manuals say bronze washer first because this rotates and the shaft rotates. So I'm not sure how they come up with this exactly, but let's see if it works the way they describe. Unfortunately, since my disassembly videos are gone, and I'm really not seeing much of this detail in the manuals I've got, but there is a steel washer that's down inside here underneath the bronze, and the steel can't be removed, but the bronze, I think, has to be there because that's the gears. The gear from here runs against that surface, so seems to me it's got to have a thrust washer, and that's the only one that fits in there. So the deciding factor will be if it pushes this too high so that I can no longer get the locked steel washer on that flat surface. Pardon for the vibration and shaking here. Trying to be still. Let's try that. And the only way it has any kind of decent play and I can get it together is with that thrust washer out. So that makes sense with the diagrams, makes sense with the physical. Otherwise I can't get the flat washer to seat down in there, or the steel washer. And since it makes sense that the bronze has to go on the other side. I am a little concerned though because this oil delivery sleeve also does not rotate. So the intermediate shaft rotates, the hub rotates, or the drum rotates. So which one does the more rotating? Don't know. This transmission, I'm pretty sure is pre-50, but I'm not positive. I think it's somewhere around 47 to 50. But everything I can find indicates that this snap ring goes on like this, and there's enough room in there that this sleeve can go past it. Of course, it's stopped because it will have the rear hub there. I'm guessing they're using a thrust washer in the front to locate everything. And that will should focus on my chicken lady wife. So I think that's all I can find. Everything says there's no thrust washer. Pre-46 there's no thrust washer, and 47 to 51 there's no thrust washer, and it's showing some additional sleeves for a later model, but this is not one of them. So I'm going to follow the diagrams. So I'm going to check the pistons now that lock up the friction plates. There's two holes on the case, and I've bolted this in. It's not torqued up yet, but it's tight. It's tight enough anyway. This is the rear piston, the top, and the one below it is the front piston. Pistons are inside the hubs. Now this one, hopefully you can hear it engaging. Here's the front. And to show, I've got just a little bit of friction on the front hub with the band. Turns completely, and there it isn't. So it's locked up or not locked up. I'll do the same on the back. And the back band can go on after all of this is in, but the front band has to be tied together and inserted with the front hub, or you'll never get it in there. This one's a little trickier. It's hard to get the back band locked up without having the servo on there. So let's see if this works. Right now, it turns. Put it on the rear. There you go. Locks up. Now it's released. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or even notify, or any of the above, or all of the above. Thank you.